Hello friends, and welcome to the channel, where we delve into the mind of a villain. In this entry, we'll be taking a look at Zurg, the villain from the Pixar movie Lightyear. Do take note, we'll be going into major spoilers that may affect your first viewing of the film, so you might want to come back another time if you haven't seen the movie yet. But for those of you still here, it'll be assumed you've already seen the movie and that the figurative cat is out of the bag for you. With that said, we can begin. As it turns out, the film unveils the plot twist that Zurg is actually old Buzz Lightyear, who went off into a different timeline and missed out on the character growth that young Buzz Lightyear did. Now, to keep things simple, we'll be simply referring to old antagonist Buzz as Zurg, and protagonist Buzz Lightyear as just Buzz. Zurg is a dark mirror of his former self, representing what Buzz would have become if not for the character growth he attains throughout the film. This character growth is so stark that both of them dislike what they see in each other, as they candidly point out. Since they both started out as the same character, Zurg's current psyche and its origin can be traced back to the time when he was still a young Buzz Lightyear. Buzz has several key personality traits which lead to his eventual state as Zurg, the most prominent of which is his figurative tunnel vision, likely a byproduct of his fast pace of living, causing him to be oblivious to the state of others around him. It is this narrow lens that causes Buzz to miss out on the fact that Alicia was happily settling down nicely on the new colonized planet. This obscured vision in turn comes from two things: his guilt over stranding his crew on the planet and his identity as a space ranger. As Zurg, these two drivers still remain, as seen when he presents his case to Buzz, telling him that he'll finally stop having the recurring nightmares that he still has over his failure. This guilt causes Zurg to remain remarkably dedicated to completing the mission, even after many decades prevented him from moving on. Zurg's dedication to the mission also arises from his perceived calling as a space ranger, which ties in with his relationship with Alicia. Judging by the photograph he keeps at his configuration panel, it's clear that Zurg values his friendship with Alicia, and their reunion would be one of his motives. Alicia appears to be Buzz's only human companion, and each flight test he undergoes causes him to miss out on another 4 years with her. While he only aged minutes in those years, it was still emotionally traumatic for Buzz as he watched his only emotional anchor quickly drifting away. But while they have unusually good chemistry, a great part of what endears them to each other is their common goal of space exploration. In his younger years, Buzz constantly expresses his goal of resuming his Space Ranger exploits. Where Buzz falters is that he has mistakenly projected this desire onto Alicia, and remains fixated that she still has this goal when she has long moved on. As Zurg, this is seen when he tries to sell Buzz on his plan, telling him that Alicia will be able to become a space ranger again. However, this is a narrow view and no longer relevant. In his younger years, Alicia did give Buzz some hint of this, as seen after his first failed flight test. She tells Buzz that he doesn't have to do another one and that maybe they should think about this. Buzz, however, remains stubbornly attached to the mission for the reasons previously mentioned, and cannot believe that Alicia would settle for another life. As seen in the film, the pivotal difference that separates Buzz from Zurg is his realization that Alicia was content with her life on the planet. It's likely that this discovery helped Buzz to alleviate some of the guilt he was experiencing. But it's a testament to Buzz's tunnel vision that this wasn't a self-discovery, but Izzy had to explicitly mention it to him before he finally got it. Unfortunately, Zurg never met Izzy or her crew, so his perception remains unchanged. One attitude that also didn't change was his self-reliance. In his younger years, Buzz displays a recurring sense of independence, as seen by his disdain for the autopilot function and for people he deems to be incompetent. This is actually ironic, given that Buzz admits that he himself was an underperforming cadet. If anyone should have compassion on those who struggle, it should be him. Maybe the sight of their incompetence reminds him of his own past, which he doesn't wish to revisit, and hence he pushes others away. However, Buzz's independence is an indication of his pride, which corresponds with his guilt. In his initial launch of the turnip at the start of the film, the autopilot Ivan explicitly warns him that his trajectory was unsound. Buzz fails to heed this, resulting in their stranding. Perhaps if Buzz had done things differently, or at least involved his team, the whole situation could have been avoided. Or even if it did still happen, it would have been a team effort, and his guilt would have been spread out. Since Zurg never met Izzy and her crew, he never learned that he cannot go through life alone, and that there is a synergistic value in teamwork. As a result, he is only surrounded by robots despite his many years of back-and-forth time travel. The decades of isolation have certainly taken its toll on Zurg, who now appears to be willing to do anything to undo his mistake, even if he has to resort to killing. However, since he is mainly targeting his younger self, perhaps it technically doesn't qualify as murder. Zurg wants his life to matter again, a sentiment he expresses to Buzz, although it's a mistaken concept. While the ship may transport him back to the past, it does not reverse aging, and he would still remain an old man on the tail end of his life, one who can only derive satisfaction from watching his younger self not making his mistakes. Buzz opposes the idea of going back, as doing so would erase the events of Alicia's life and the rest of the colonists. From Zurg's point of view, it's a reasonable goal, as no one would remember the erased events anyway. It's a tough situation, as when you put yourself in their shoes, both their viewpoints have merits based on their current worldview. Zurg's goal could be said to be misguided, as he is depriving Alicia and the rest of the colonists from the lives that they had on the planet. Life is uncertain, and at least Alicia has the sure guarantee of living to a ripe old age in the present timeline. Buzz wishes to protect that happy ending, but then again, one can hardly fault Zurg, as this is still news to him. Tragically, Zurg remains stuck trying to change the past, as opposed to Buzz, who has managed to move on with a new sense of purpose despite leaving his mistake undone. Without the goal of time travel, Zurg unfortunately has nothing to live for. At the end, Zurg was a victim of circumstance, as the pivotal turning point that separated him from Buzz was a chance encounter, one that was beyond both their control. His story is a testament to the fact that oftentimes uncontrollable circumstances have a huge impact on our worldview. He saw himself as the hero of his story, with his goal as a noble endeavorer, one that cannot be reconciled with the new worldview of his younger but more matured self. So what do you think of Zurg from Lightyear, folks? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and take care.